Hi guys, this is Shashank from Mystical Ankar. In this video, we will be making an 808 bass in Serum. And this is what it sounds like. So to start off, let's make a new instance of Serum on a different track. We have here on oscillator a sawtooth wave. We have to change that into a sine wave because almost all 808 basses are generated using sine waves, then distorting it later on. So here we have go into analog, we have analog BD sine. A simple clean sine wave. What I personally like to do is instead of starting off with a clean sine wave and then distorting it later, we can distort the sine wave itself to begin with so that it gives a little more unique characteristic to the sound. So we have here the wavetable position. Right now it's at 0. If we crank it up all the way, you can see the sine wave distorting and harmonics are being added to the sound. So to hear the difference, let me play the clean sine wave first. And now the distorted. As you can see, the difference is the distorted sine wave has more harmonics coming in and it sounds a little brighter. And that helps us later on when we're trying to distort the sound. So this is up to you how much you want the amount of harmonics, but I almost pretty much go all the way through. For this example, let's push it all the way. Yeah, let's start with this. Let's hear it once in the lower octave, how it would sound. One thing that I prefer to do in almost all of my 808 basses is to have a little bit of transient coming through so that it doesn't sound just like a blob of sub bass, but it has a characteristic. It comes with a punch. It has a snap in the beginning. I do that by obviously layering a kick, but then in the sine wave itself, I will have a small envelope changing the pitch. So it goes to a higher pitch and it quickly drops down to the main note. So when the envelope is fast enough, it sounds like a transient. So to do that, let's go into the matrix tab and let's take LFO1 for this example. We can go back to LFO1 and change it to trigger mode so that every time a note is played, each note will have that attack. So go back to this trigger mode and we want this kind of a curve for that because it has to be a really fast attack so that it's not, you won't really be able to tell that it went to a higher note, but you can feel the difference in the attack. So turn this down as much as we can and let's go into matrix and then we're going to take this and route it to the global master tune. So and this amount will determine how much of attack we are getting through. So to hear it without it, I mean, this is basically 0 setting, right? And once we start pushing this up, you can hear the attack coming through to kind of push each note through again and again. Change this to envelope mode again. Yeah. So then next I tend to have a little bit of distortion within Serum itself because I like the tone of this distortion, and if it depends on your preference really. If you want, you can go with other plugins, but this is actually quite good. So switch on the distortion. For this particular example, we can go with 0 square. And we can push the control the drive amount and the mix. So just to hear it. Right now it's quite bright, yes, but we can tone that down later. In fact, to start making corrections, we can start off with the filter right now. And in the filter, go to pretty steep curve, maybe something like low 18 or low 24. Either of them would work because we want to cut off all the buzz. We don't need the buzz in the 808, but we need a little bit of the oomph coming through in the low end. So cut it quite steeply. Yeah, as you can hear now, you can hear that low rumble kind of coming through. That's exactly what we want, but we don't need the buzziness of the higher frequencies. Now, to kind of push this a little more, we can push the drive and the fatness of this filter. Yeah, that sounds good. Now, 808s are typically extremely compressed, very tightly compressed, so that you have that bass going through all your sections consistently. So we can go with the compressor here. You can do multiband. I like multiband in this because it brings out the brightness in different tones and gives a different shape to the sound. So to hear it, this threshold will change the tone of the sound because it changes the amount of sound being compressed. So you can play around with this and get the sound you're looking for. Let's tone this down a little bit. Yeah, that sounds good. We can also change the filter in the distortion. Let's go with the post filter and open it all the way. To add a little bit of unique characteristics to the sound, you can take your envelope, which was made for the pitch, and you can map that to the drive amount on the distortion. So what this does is it distorts the attack of the bass a little bit more, just to kind of push it through. So it comes out a little more. You can do the same thing with the cutoff of your filter set right here. But you can be a little careful with this because it can be very bright and you have to be a little precise. That's all. Like as you can see now, you can hear the pitch artifact coming through exactly. So just try to minimize it. And you can even change the shape of your envelope a little bit. Try to make it even tighter. Now it's just like a small click. You can't really hear it as a pitch artifact, but you can hear the attack of the bass coming through. Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. If you want, you can add some noise to it as well. Any kind of noise really works because as you start opening up your filter, let's say if you have an automation and coming through, then it'll really start pushing through. But it adds a little bit of depth to your sound. But it depends on what kind of noise you go for, or you can even load your own custom noise sample. That works too. It depends on how much of a tight sound you're looking for versus how much of a bouncy, airy kind of a sound. So that's about it, really. If you want, you can experiment with different waveforms and try out different shapes and more modulation. After this, you can do your regular compression and make it sit in the mix, and it'll sound pretty good. So yeah, if you found this video useful, please hit the like button. For more music production tips and tricks, please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. You can also visit our blog. The link will be in the description below. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.